So you can see that if you look at it schematically, this is representing a somatic motor neuron whose cell body is present inside the central nervous system, and it's sending out its axon uh, no matter how far away it is from the central nervous system, either in the brain or the spinal cord. The brain and the spinal cord represent the central nervous system, but the axons are coming out of it. The axon is coming out, is going into the peripheral nervous system, and it will innervate the skeletal muscle no matter how far it is, but only one neuron is involved. As you can see, this is a one neuron pathway. The somatic motor system is all a one neuron pathway. In contrast, when you look at the autonomic nervous system, it is a two neuron pathway. This is the first neuron, cell body. The first neuron is present in the central nervous system. It is sending out its axon to the second neuron, and the cell body of the second neuron is located inside a ganglion. As I said earlier, this is the cell body of the second neuron, and the axon of the first neuron is innervating the cell body of the second neuron, and the axon of the second neuron uh, from the peripheral nervous system or the ganglion is going to innervate the target organ right here. So since uh, the axon of the first neuron is going to innervate the cell body of the second neuron, and it is present inside a ganglion, so the axon of the first neuron is known as a preganglionic nerve fiber before the ganglion, and the axon of the second neuron is known as a postganglionic fiber. Again, the axon of the first neuron, which is going to innervate the cell body of the second neuron, will be known as a preganglionic fiber because it is before a neuron, before a ganglion, sorry. And the axon of the post of the second neuron, which will innervate the target organ, will be known as the postganglionic fiber. So in the autonomic nervous system, always there is this two neuron pathway, the first neuron and the second neuron. The first neuron sending out its axon, which is to the second neuron, which is located inside the ganglion, and that fiber is the preganglionic fiber. And the second axon, which is going from the ganglion towards the target organ, is the postganglionic nerve fiber. Postganglionic meaning going from the ganglion to the target organ. Now, there is only one exception to this rule. The entire autonomic nervous system has this two neuron pathway except the adrenal medulla. Adrenal medulla is an exception, and it has only one neuron. It's a one neuron pathway. Only the first neuron, its cell body, is located inside the central nervous system. It will send out its axon, and the axons will synapse upon the adrenal medulla. The gland will be present over here, shown as this second globe, the second neuron. Instead of the second neuron, there is no second neuron in adrenal medulla. There is the gland itself present over here. And since it's not a neural tissue, it is a glandular tissue. So there's no second axon. The adrenal medulla sends out no axons into the target organ. In fact, it releases hormones inside the blood, and the blood, it's part of the endocrine system, and the blood will take these hormones and distribute it all over the body, and then those hormones will act wherever they want to, wherever the receptors are present of those hormones. So adrenal medulla is a one neuron pathway, but it's part of the autonomic nervous system, and that is an exception to the rule. So one of the very important facts to to remember. Now we come to the various parts of the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is divided into two parts: the sympathetic nervous system as well as the parasympathetic nervous system. These are two different divisions of the autonomic nervous system, and we'll discuss them in the next video.